This is Adult Swim. It's one of the most well-known adult channels on television, likely due to their wide range of shows appealing to a large number of people. Adult Swim resides on Cartoon Network as a late-night programming block, running from 8 PM to 6 AM, meaning that it does not need to worry about finance. This gives them the freedom to greenlight shows that other TV channels would simply decline, because money and ratings are not an issue to the channel. So how did this channel come around? Without any further ado, all kids out of the pool for Adult Swim.
All kids out of the pool for Adult Swim. All kids out. Adult Swim. All kids out of the pool.
Adult Swim's story begins with the release of the TV series Space Ghost. It premiered via CBS on the 10th of September 1966 and continued via new episodes of reruns until the 7th of September 1968. However, the series did not receive much attention. There is not much else to dwell on regarding Space Ghost, so we shall now jump to 1993, where this man, Mike Lazo, was asked to make a cartoon that would appeal to mature audiences. This show would then air on a newly established channel called Cartoon Network. Now, for some context, the 90s was the time when adult animated shows, such as The Simpsons, South Park, Family Guy, etc., were truly hitting their stride and delivering some of the most memorable episodes of their respective shows. It makes sense that an up-and-coming cartoon channel would try to capitalise on this rise with a show of their own. However, there was a problem. They did not have much money. This meant that the show had to reuse old clips and assets from the original series. The final show was entitled Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and it premiered on the night of April 15, 1994. The show ran for 6 seasons, spanning from 1994 to 1999. Then, there were no more episodes. Until 2001. On the 7th of May and 22nd of July 2001, Space Ghost Coast to Coast aired 2 episodes of its 7th season, entitled Kentucky Nightmare and The Justice Hole respectively. Approximately a month later, on the 12th of August of the same year, Cartoon Network began airing adverts for a new late-night programming block called Adult Swim. They also announced some of the channel's first original programs, such as Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Home Movies, Cowboy Bebop, Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law, and more, including Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Alright, attention swimmers. Or swimmer. Got some announcements to make here. Sundays at 10, it's all kids out of the pool for Adult Swim.
You can't just decide to go swimming whenever you want.
That's when there'll be count 'em new shows. New shows. Home Movies.
Who went wee-wee in my canteen?
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Look at my freaking car.
A Bragg Show.
You fell.
Your father and Race were buddies.
Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law. D-Lab 2021.
You broke the monitor, and you're dead. Happy?
Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop. And Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
This is Willie Nelson.
No kids under 17, though. So that's new, too. Sunday at 10. Adult Swim. On Cartoon Network.
These adverts were supplemented by promotional CDs and press kits, including a segment on Access Hollywood.
Thanks, Nancy. I've seen the pilot. It's very good. On TV this weekend, 5 new series from the Cartoon Network. But guess what? They're not for kids.
Go to bed, Grandma. You're old. You don't have any money. Run the damn clip.
Put the children to bed. Cartoon Network is not just for kids anymore.
Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law.
From Harvey Birdman to Space Ghost to Cowboy Bebop, Adult Swim is the new block of animated programming aimed at grown-ups. You can dive into Adult Swim Sundays and Thursdays, beginning September 2nd at 10 p.m. on the Cartoon Network.
Finally, on the 2nd of September 2001 at 10 p.m. EST, viewers of Cartoon Network would not be greeted to more wacky children's cartoons, but instead, the birth of Adult Swim. Aside from some opening idents, the first thing ever shown on Adult Swim was an episode of Home Movies entitled Director's Cut. Also premiering on Adult Swim that night were Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, and Cowboy Bebop. Aqua Teen Hunger Force premiered a week later with the episode Escape from Leprecopolis. On February 23, 2002, two major changes took place on Adult Swim. Firstly, the block began airing on Saturdays and Sundays as two separate blocks. Adult Swim Action, which was mainly anime shows that aired between 11 PM and 2 AM EST, and Adult Swim Comedy, which consisted of comedy shows and aired from 10 PM to 1 AM EST. Secondly, the logo changed from a rough red block of text to a sleek, nicer looking block of text. And now, we come to 2003, where a series of events would lead Adult Swim to be the reviver of one of adult animation's most popular shows. On the 15th of May 2002, the Fox Media Corporation announced their lineup for the fall of that year. However, Family Guy, which was one of their most well-received shows at the time, was not present. Shortly afterwards, Fox confirmed that the show had been cancelled due to low ratings. Following the cancellation of the show, Fox tried to sell the rights for the show's reruns, which were bought by Cartoon Network. On the 20th of April 2003, a year after the cancellation of Family Guy, Adult Swim began to broadcast reruns of previous episodes. That same week, a DVD set was released for the first and second season, and this DVD set sold extremely well, likely due to the show's popularity on Adult Swim. The show was a frequent dominator of late-night television, and it boosted viewership by over 200%. And the DVD set followed suit, selling 400,000 copies in a single month. The DVD set became the best-selling TV DVD of 2003, and the second best-selling TV DVD of all time, behind the first season of a Comedy Central show entitled Chappelle's Show. And on the 20th of May 2004, the high DVD sales convinced Fox to renew the show for a fourth season with 35 episodes. The first episode of this season, entitled North by North Quahog, aired on the 1st of May 2005 to an audience of almost 12 million viewers. An incredibly similar scenario took place with the equally well-received show Futurama. The show had been taken out of the full lineup for that year, Adult Swim received the rights for reruns, DVD so well, etc. But the show was not renewed by Fox themselves, it was renewed by Comedy Central in June of 2009. So it seemed like everything was good for Adult Swim. However, in 2007, there will be a story involving Adult Swim that broke national headlines, and it has quite a bit to do with bombs. Let's start with some context. Mooninites are recurring characters on the show Aqua Teen Hunger Force. There are 5 of these Mooninites overall, but the 2 we care about are Ignig Noct and On the 31st of January 2007, as a marketing campaign for the upcoming film Aqua Teen Hunger Force: movie film for theatres, LED displays with either Ignig Noct's or design on were placed around several cities and lit up during the afternoon. However, at approximately 8 AM in Boston, a train passenger spotted one of these displays and reported it to a police officer. Throughout the day, until approximately 3 PM, more of these panels were reported to the police, until they came to the conclusion that this was a publicity stunt. There were 2 arrests made related to the incident. Cartoon Network's parent company, Turner, was forced to pay $2 million following the incident. It even caused Cartoon Network's general manager and executive vice president at the time to step down. From this point onwards, many jokes were made in the ATHF community about this incident, such as 13107, never forget, in response to the mayor of Boston mentioning 9/11 in relation to the case. The Boston Police Department were heavily criticised by the media and fans of the show based on their handling of the scare. Here are a few clips of news broadcasts regarding the scare.
Cable news viewers in this country were treated to hours of live coverage this afternoon as suspicious packages were discovered all over Boston. Roads were closed, the Charles River was closed, and questions were asked about terrorism. Then came the explanation. NBC's Pete Williams has more from our Washington newsroom tonight. Pete, good evening.
Brian, at least this has a happy ending, but it is a strange one. Boston police did shut down a bridge, several main roads, including an interstate, and stop boat traffic on the Charles, all in response to 9 separate reports of suspicious devices with circuit boards, wires, and batteries. Police blew some of them up as a precaution, but none contained explosives, and now we know why. They turned out to be this thing, outdoor lighted signs to promote a movie coming out in May, based on an animated series on the Cartoon Network called Aqua Teen Hunger Force. These signs have been up in 9 other cities since mid-month. Turner Broadcasting says it has now told Boston police what these things were, and it says it's sorry they were ever thought to be dangerous, Brian.
Happy it's a false alarm. Pete Williams in our Washington.
Sky 7 now showing you some of the episodes this afternoon where police went location by location with the bomb squad to check out these so-called magnetic signs, lights, promoting this show on one of the Turner Broadcasting network, or rather, I believe it's
the Cartoon Network. Under Turner Broadcasting.
So it's been a very busy afternoon for police, and this afternoon, shortly after 4 o'clock, there was a news conference at the command center set up at Boston Police.
Looking now, you see a map of all the different devices found around the city, from the Longfellow Bridge to the New England Medical Center, from Stewart and Columbus Street in the South End to the first device found at Sullivan Square in Somerville. At times, of course, those devices being found and police responding, it paralyzed the city. But late today, the governor, the mayor, and the police commissioner said there was nothing to worry about and everyone should go about their business.
All of us, and the individuals who may be placing these bombs, or these packages, I should say, should be warned that this is a heavy penalty. It's imprisonment, 2 to 5 years for each one of them. So it's not, we're not playing around.
I'm gagged that someone somehow shimmied his way up there and put this bright light thing up there, and we all just kind of laughed about it. But we're all a little upset because you're defacing the Fenway Park. But at the same time, no one ever thought anything serious of it till today.
Obviously no threat, but police are keeping us at quite a distance right now. Again, another one of these electronic cartoons found right there at Gate C. We're not sure what is going to be happening, if that is going to be coming down within the next hour or so. We're, of course, standing by for any developments, but as you know, no threat here on Lansdowne Street. We're live in Boston. Linda Urgis, 7
About 8:05 a.m., police say a passenger finds a suspicious package under I-93 by the Sullivan Square T-stop. 93 North and the Orange Line shut down for a good 2 hours. Until the bomb squad detonates a device they say looks like a circuit board but isn't explosive. It ruined people's commutes and created quite a scene.
As I was coming down the side street, I heard one of it must have been an officer or maybe one of the bomb squad people say fire in the hole.
And then?
And I heard a detonation.
A few hours later and a few miles away, police detonate another suspicious package, this one under the Longfellow Bridge. Cars are kept off it, and Red Line service between Boston and Cambridge comes to a halt.
That's very scary. Now you have me thinking if I should go on the Red Line.
Now we know this was just a bad publicity stunt and not a scary, suspicious package. Still, people prefer the city be vigilant than take any chances.
He has photographs documenting 17 sites where the devices were planted and later found. At the tops of buildings, under bridges, at Fenway Park, all across the city. This little creature that lights up in the dark and makes an obscene gesture is on his website. It was also found over the entryway to a comic book store in Alston.
It looked like the Mooninites, made out of little lights like a light bright.
Okay, Mooninites. Little lights like a light bright.
Like a light bright. They weren't lit up now, but they light up at night, which is why they had the battery pack to light up.
Battery pack on?
It had a battery pack, and that's what made everybody nervous because they equate battery packs and wires and such with bombs.
To be honest, this event could probably be a good video on its own, and I'm just scratching the surface here of what happened. But for now, let's continue. It's time now to talk about
Studio.
What the fuck?
Well, as you can see, there has been a temporary fault with the broadcast of this show. There was an interference that caused the show to go down. We will try to correct the error as quickly as possible, but in the meantime we have a pre-made interlude created for your convenience. Quick primer on Toonami. Toonami is an anime-focused programming blog that premiered on the 17th of March 1997 and has had an intricate history with different hosts and incarnations. But that is another story for another video. The day that we're going to be beginning our mini-story on is the 20th of September 2008 at the Anime Weekend Atlanta, where it was announced by Cartoon Network that due to low ratings, the Toonami block had been cancelled. Later that evening, the block aired its final broadcast until April Fool's Day of 2012. As part of their yearly April Fool's Day stunts, Adult Swim decided to bring back Toonami for this day. A few days later, however, they sent out a tweet asking whether people wanted Toonami to be brought back for real. Following a strong response to this call, Adult Swim announced on Facebook in May that Toonami was making an official return, and Toonami still broadcasts to this day. It seems as though we fixed the issue. Apologies for the disruption, but we can now continue. In December of 2013, Adult Swim debuted a new show called Rick and Morty, about a boy named Morty and his grandfather Rick as the pair go on wacky sci-fi adventures. Now, most people, probably including Adult Swim, were likely expecting that Rick and Morty would follow the general lifespan and popularity of a TV show on Adult Swim. After all, this is Adult Swim, which airs after most people have gone to bed. But somehow, the show became very popular, incredibly quickly. This may have been due to the critical acclaim of the show, or the clever premise, or the humour, or any number of these factors. The point is, Adult Swim had itself a hit show, a show that people were staying up to tune into. And it wasn't just fans that liked the show, it was critics too. The first 2 seasons of Rick and Morty on Rotten Tomatoes have incredibly high tomato meters and audience scores. However, Season 3 was dividing to say the least. Around the release of this season, there have been a few problems surrounding both the season and the show. Firstly, the show had added some inexperienced writers to the Rick and Morty team, which could have caused problems with the show's writing. Secondly, there were multiple delays in getting Season 3 out, and finally, the fandom had started to influence the show. Also, said fandom got quite out of hand with a couple of notable incidents. The point I'm trying to make here is that this was a first for Adult Swim. After all, they'd never had a show as popular as Rick and Morty. Sure, there are some contenders to that, but ask your average Joe about his or her favourite Adult Swim show, and they're likely to say Rick and Morty. Now, that's not to say that everyone hated this 3rd season. After all, one of the episodes ended up winning an Emmy, but it definitely caused a lot of debate, and the show became marketable. Extremely marketable. But once again, Rick and Morty, just like every other show on Adult Swim, is another story for another video. It's time for an epilogue. This is $1 Million Extreme, a sketch comedy troupe that was known for their pranks that were uploaded onto their YouTube channels. In May of 2015, it was announced that the group had been gifted a live-action show on Adult Swim. The show was called $1 Million Extreme Presents World Peace, although it's often referred to as World Peace, and it takes place in a post-apocalyptic landscape. The show premiered on the 5th of August 2016, but was involved in some controversy due to supposed hidden racist messages, and the fact that one of the members of the group is a member of the alt-right. It was eventually decided by Adult Swim on the 5th of December 2016 to cancel the show. Since that point, the group had been very inactive. Their main YouTube channel was suspended in 2018, as well as their Reddit account. Let's now move on to the Karens. On the 21st of November 2018, a YouTube user by the name of Mike Diva uploaded a video entitled Pre-Birth, where odd-looking triangle creatures whack babies onto pillars. This short was then shown on an Adult Swim show called Off the Air. Almost 2 years later, on the 17th of July 2020, a Twitter user by the handle SoonerGirl74 made the following tweet. Cartoon Network after hours. They throw it in your face. They hope you aren't the kind of parents who monitors what you kids watch and do. They're busy conditioning them. What do you see here? I see witches abusing babies. This is not okay. This is not funny. Hashtag these people are sick. This tweet was heavily criticised because A, it's called Adult Swim for a reason, B, it's not thrown in your face, there is a clear indication that this is what you'll be watching, and C, most children would be in bed by this point. The tweet also received 2 responses from Adult Swim, one of which was broadcasted live. It just goes to show that all kids and Karens should get out of the pool.
I get this off my bird chest so my word becomes blessed. Never classified, reactions to divide, now I never socialize. Paranoid of public eyes. You ain't hip-hop, I can't label your disguise. Take the hip and make it trip, titles, test, and compromise.
What we do here is go back.